Welcome once again to Boomer Bongo Boulevard, number 45. This is the Halloween costumes and candy episode. So we're going to be talking about Halloween and what we remember about it and growing up in the old days in the 60s and 70s and going out trick or treating. I guess a little in the 50s too. And what we did. And I was particularly interested in talking about the treats we used to get, which don't really exist anymore. And candy corn, for example. I mean, that exists, but does anybody really give candy corn out, Ron? Ron, I
Nobody
can't.
gets candy corn. I love candy corn, but nobody gives it out.
Well, hang on, I got to get some coffee.
I got to get where you can see my face a little better.
Well, yeah, I was
That's a little better.
disappointed. I can't see your face. My face is covering up your face. I'm out on the porch because we've got it, Ron, decorated for Halloween, and I know you've got a Halloween mask on. If I may, I'll show the backside.
I'm Iron Bobby Boucher.
Can you
I'm the
see?
Iron Water Boy.
Can you see all the pumpkins we've
Yes,
got?
I can. I can
And
indeed.
up above we have jack-o'-lanterns hanging. Can you see those?
Yes, I can. Very nice.
Well, thank you. And it's just a fun. I spent 5 minutes setting my camera up, and then I took it down immediately because that's the way I roll. All right, Ron. So, what do you want to talk about? What did you want to bring up
Well,
first?
first off, I wanted to talk about Halloween costumes, which weren't nearly as good as this.
No.
Not even close.
Well,
Actually, the first one I really remember was a Superman costume I had, which was actually a really good costume. It was made of cloth, and it had, it looked right. The cape looked right, and I liked it. And I remember the thing most I remember about it was you and Randy laughing about the little label down at the tail of the shirt, where it got tucked in. It had a little cartoon of Superman, and he goes, it had, like with the little thought balloon up there, and he goes, "Remember, this suit cannot make you fly. Only Superman can fly."
the world was already becoming litigious. They didn't want some little
Exactly.
kid, to jump off a bridge expecting to. Why would you do that though?
And I remember a friend of mine had a Batman one, and it was cool. But then, like
Well,
a
now
year or
wait.
two later, and what was that?
I was just about to say that the Batman would say, "Remember, this suit does not make you a detective."
Remember, this suit does not make you a psychopath. Only you can make you a psychopath.
I'm sure there were plenty of psychopaths
but,
in the world.
But yeah, like right after that, and I'm going to try to incorporate some of this visuals in there. I don't know if I'll succeed, but I'm going to describe it anyway. Like later on, and let me back up a second. Who made most of these really good costumes? And I think they still do make costumes. It was Ben Cooper costumes.
No,
You can just look those up online, Ben Cooper, and you can see tons of examples of Ben Cooper costumes. That were the ones that had the little square box, the cellophane. You could see the mask on the top, and they did all kind of stuff. They made monkeys costumes, Beatles costumes, superheroes. They did it all. And but the next one I got after Superman was Spider-Man, of course, because I love Spider-Man. I was all excited about looking for a Spider-Man costume, and I got it, and it just had this really round, not even head-shaped mask that, at least it looked like Spider-Man. You had the webbing, but you could see your eyes and everything.
sure.
And but the costume part was worse because they had come up with this, flame retardant stuff, and they hadn't really got it down. Which I'm sure everything's flame retardant now, but they at least know how to make it look good.
You would think.
But at this point, they didn't really have it down, and it looked. It's hard to describe. It was shiny. It was almost like something a highway worker would be working. That kind of a shiny, weird, just flimsy material. It almost looked like one of those throwaway ponchos or something that you get.
Yeah.
It's so wrinkly and so bad. and it had like short sleeves on it, like Spider-Man had short sleeves or something, and it had the webbing all the way across, and it was yellow and red, and it had Spider-Man written, like Spider-Man needed his name on there,
Yeah.
and it was just awful. And I even had one after that. It was I couldn't find the Fantastic
Whoa!
Four,
You
so
mean
they
you
had
bought
Doctor
that?
Doom. Huh?
You actually bought that horrible thing? You didn't walk
Well,
out the
I was
store?
a kid. I wanted to be Spider-Man. The best they had. It's kind of like you were talking about. That's the reason you watch Batman. It was pretty much the only game in town.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And and they had Doctor Doom, which actually the Doctor Doom mask looked pretty cool.
Well, all you
But
needed was a hoodie.
yeah, but the other thing was kind of like Spider-Man, sleeveless, had a picture of Doctor Doom, like with his hand out like that. But for some reason, I don't know why, legal something, they had him called Doctor Doomsday. Doctor
Huh.
Doomsday. I don't know why, but it had like purple pants, and it was just weird looking.
Well, I don't remember. I'm glad you have memories of because I don't. I know when I'm 10 years older than you,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't even remember a single costume. I think we would buy some little cheesy mask with elastic that held it
Yeah.
on your face and
Oh yeah.
kind of see out of it. And I kind of remember just getting a bunch of crepe paper and wrapping ourselves in it and walking around like we were a ghost. And then if it was cold, you'd put a coat on over that. And I mean, it wasn't so much. What I remember about Halloween was I'm trying to see if I have any costume notes. Let's see, mask and a jacket. Sure. Oh, you know what? One time, I our mom got us a tie, and
Yeah.
I wore a tie with a little cheap shirt
Yeah.
and a whatever, and I was a detective, and I had a gun, a little toy gun. And
Oh,
now
okay. That's pretty good.
people would think, yeah, I think so. And I actually felt like I was dressed that particular Halloween. I was probably 10 when I did that, and didn't have a hat or anything.
Yeah.
Didn't have a detective hat or a Sherlock Holmes hat or anything of that nature. But I had a couple of things. Now people would think you had a real gun. You'd terrify people if you had a
Yeah.
toy gun because toy guns look real.
Yeah,
In fact,
they
we've
look
mentioned that
like
before.
this, except they put this on the end now, the little
Yeah,
orange
they used to not
feeling.
have that on the end. They
Yeah.
just had what looked like a real gun. If you drilled
Oh
it
yeah.
out, you really couldn't tell
Oh
because
yeah. They had some of those, that little like little snub nose 38s later on,
Mhm.
which and they sounded like a gun.
Oh, and there were Lugers, and
Oh yeah.
any all kinds of things, 45s. They
Yeah.
all looked just as real as they could. And I think I might have worn a cowboy hat once or twice, some old beat up cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Been claimed I was Roy Rogers. I think I had plenty of gun belts. So once again, the gun theme.
Well,
Um,
see, that's not bad.
no, but nothing like what you're talking about. Nothing
Yeah.
even resembling a real costume. And I've never really worn a real Halloween costume, even as an adult. A lot of
Yeah.
people go to Halloween parties, and I've been to a few, but I didn't really dress for them. I was that guy that didn't really dress for the Halloween party, and I might wear a
Well, I
long
used to do
ranger.
that when I would go to some adult ones. I had like I went as Ted, that one that was most remembered when I went as Senator Ted Kennedy once. I braided my hair, and it was right after he had some incident where he had like dropped his pants in front of someone or
Oh,
something
sure.
at a party,
Hey,
and
Kennedy.
and I went and I wore a suit coat and tie, and I made a little um, sign, it had Senator Edward Kennedy, with a flag on it, and I had like a condom hanging off the side of it, and
That
and
was an
and
adult
I
party.
and I wore no pants.
Oh,
I had underwear on it, but I bought like a big pair of what do you call them, boxers,
right.
and wore them over. That was like my pants, so I was walking around in boxers.
That was a good
I was
touch.
pantless, yeah,
That was a good touch.
yeah,
And you could have carried a subpoena in your pocket
yeah.
for the hearing or whatever criminal charges
Yeah.
resulted that would be mysteriously dropped.
Yeah.
Just pass it on. Um, you know what I was thinking about is being a kid. And this happened when you were younger too. This didn't change for up until I don't know 30 years ago or so.
Yeah.
But I was writing down some of the stuff we used to get, some of the candy.
Hmm.
We used to get all that homemade stuff, popcorn balls
Popcorn balls and stuff. Yeah.
and candied apples.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometime when I was a kid, that all the scares started, and just like
well,
with the flame retardant costumes, you know.
well, the scare started because people were putting poison in the
Uh-huh.
popcorn balls and the razor blades in the apples. It
Yep.
was a rare instance where you could completely understand
Yeah.
people panicking. You don't want your kid coming
Yeah.
back bleeding in the mouth because they've got a razor
Yep.
blade stuck between their teeth. And but we would get bananas.
Yeah.
Not that we were crazy about bananas, but you'd keep them and you'd eat a banana, one of them for breakfast the next morning.
Yeah.
And the candied apples were great. And and most of these things that were made were the old ladies in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They
And they
would
were
make.
probably kind of awesome.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
You'd have them. A lot of them would invite you in, and you'd
Hmm.
go on. And of course, you knew them. They were in the
Yeah.
neighborhood, and you'd go in. Of course, yeah, we thought we knew her, and then
Yeah.
we didn't. But you'd walk in, and they'd have fudge,
Hmm.
and you just
Sometimes
grab a couple
cookies
of
and
pieces.
stuff too, they would give you, while you were there.
The
Yeah.
what now?
I said sometimes cookies and stuff while you were
Oh
there,
yeah.
you know.
Like I remember one lady in particular. I'm not going to say her name, but she would have a selection of cookies. She would have
Hmm.
like three different servings of
Yep.
cookies. You would take one of each, if depending on the night, on the time
Hmm.
of night. If it was getting later in the night, she knew she wasn't going to have too many more trick or treaters come by.
Yeah.
Well, you might get all three. Otherwise, earlier you'd get one, and
Yeah.
she'd wrap them up for you, or she'd have them pre-wrapped for you, and you'd put them down in your bag. Do you ever remember having a fancy Halloween bag? Using that cowboy
Um,
talk again, fancy,
I had one that I think was handed down. I think our older sister had one, a couple or something. Because I used the same one. I think the whole time I was trick or treating. It was like a plastic kind of like
right?
the shopping bags are now. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like that. And so it was used by her, by me. And.
I was trying to remember what we used. I think we might have had Randy and I might have just had paper bags, just some paper bags.
Probably.
Didn't even have Walmart bags
My
back then,
kids, I remember buying them like those little pumpkins,
right?
and that's pretty much what they used.
Well, the well, that's just about it for Halloween for me. I'm I'm done.
Well,
No,
as far as like now, you were talking about the candy now. Um, Now I remember some of the bad candy. Did you ever get any of that? Now I like normal saltwater taffy you would get at the fair,
oh yeah, we
you
used
know,
to get the
but
taffy, sure,
but that horrible wrapped up in orange and black paper tan. I don't know what the flavor was. Was it like almost a bit of honey flavor?
right?
I don't know. Those things were awful, and I used to always get some of those. And I would inevitably get some wax lips. What you were going to do with wax lips, I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know
Well, you
really.
could chew them. They
Yeah,
were,
but I mean, they were terrible. Who
yeah,
the hell wants to chew
that's
wax?
right. That's right.
Might as
They
well
were
just
kind of
throw you
fun to
some
wear,
birthday
though.
candles in there. Here, have a candle.
They were fun to wear. You put them
Yeah.
on, and you look like you had big giant red lips.
And
And
then now were these around your kid the wax Coke bottles that had just maybe a little swallow of some kind
oh
of
yeah,
weird Kool
yeah,
Aid?
yeah.
It was awful. But
That's
you
good.
bite the top off of it and drink it. Oh yeah.
Right.
But you wanted like pixie sticks and stuff. But man, the holy grail was always candy bars, man.
And full size candy bars. Occasionally, you ran into
Yeah.
somebody. Well, they didn't really have when I was small. They
No, they
didn't
didn't
have
have the
the.
small ones. It was a full
Yeah,
size or nothing.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. So some
Yeah.
people would. A Hershey bar was great. I'd
Oh, that was
maybe get
awesome. Or
one every
payday or something like
Halloween.
that. That was awesome. And you'd get some of those every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. We I mentioned just a minute ago. I don't know if you heard me, but candy corn was was big then too. And I got an
I
admission to
get
make.
candy corn every year because I love it.
Yeah, I was going to
And the
say
little pumpkins too. I love those.
I like candy corn,
Yeah.
and most people hate it. But now the thing to me, the secret to candy corn was you had to eat a lot of it. It was like one or two candy
Mhm.
corn, no good. But if you got like 20 of them and jammed them in your mouth and just kind of let them soak around your teeth, and you just kind of you did your mouth would be almost so full that you couldn't chew, and that was how to eat candy corn. And now about two of those, and you were sick for the rest of the night.
Now I have another
What a
suggestion
way to
for you.
go!
This is more of an adult suggestion, but um, mix them up with a little bit of peanuts, man. It almost comes off like you're eating a payday.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never done that.
Yeah, it's pretty
I've
good.
I've, I've kind of given up on eating candy corn to tell you the truth, but because, like I said, you have to eat like a whole mouthful of it for me to
Yeah.
enjoy it, and it's terrible for your teeth. So,
Now, I didn't know this until a few years ago. You know why they call it candy corn?
no. Well, it's
Okay, because
candy.
it doesn't initially really look like corn, right?
Yeah, right.
Because if you get the pieces and you stack them together, like that in a circle, alternating going around, it looks like a corn on the cob.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like a corn because all you can see is the yellow, and it will stack together very well. Actually, I've done about 6 rows of them. They do stack together real well.
You know, Ron, what I remember about Halloween was how independent we were at Halloween.
Oh
We
yeah,
would just get a bunch of kids together and leave the house,
hmm
and we would go pretty much anywhere our legs could take us, and
yeah,
no adults around, and except the adults at the houses where we knocked on the
yeah,
doors,
yeah,
and we could have gotten into a lot of mischief. We really didn't too much. I mean,
no,
we weren't too big on the tricks, but there were no parents. Now, when we get trick or treaters, and we get a few on our street, more than a few,
yeah,
some Halloweens depends. I don't know on the weather. I don't know really what controls it because sometimes we only get a few, and sometimes we get a lot of
yeah,
traffic. But the thing is now the parents all come, and the
yeah.
kids often ride in the car. They can't even ride in the back of a truck. And occasionally you see kids riding around in the back of a truck and getting dropped off
Yeah.
back in our day, back in my day. But they don't even can't even do that now. They'd get a ticket, or I probably wouldn't get a ticket. They'd get a warning though from the local police, and the probably a ticket, probably a citation, probably a trial. You know, they got that way they have to hire a lawyer and keep the money circulating in the community.
Exactly.
And as the lawyers vacation in New York, carry all that money out of the community and take it to New York or Chicago or somewhere for a holiday. But the parents follow along in the cars and keep a close eye
Yeah.
on the house, and they're probably taking pictures, video in case you jump out and start attacking their kids. But there's always parents around now, and don't you weren't you unsupervised? Oh,
Not when I was real young. I mean, because you're not going to let
oh
a
no,
4-year-old go around by himself.
right.
But
Well,
later
when you were
on,
like nine,
I went by myself around the neighborhood when I
yeah,
was maybe 9-ish or something, maybe
didn't you
because I
go
was
with some other
probably with
kids?
a couple other people or something too. Um, but yeah, I had something written down here. I was looking to see what I had written down here, and here's something that you probably only went to a couple of times, but I remember a lot of the early ones of these were a lot of fun, and that was the old Halloween carnival at East Holmes,
Oh yeah, when we were in school.
especially in
Well,
the old gym.
a lot of
That
the
place was
churches,
perfect for
and
Halloween.
yeah, a lot of the churches and a lot of the schools around the area still do carnivals. They don't do them on Halloween night though. They do them on the Saturday
Yeah,
following it, or and you have all the games, and yeah, and I think that's been a thing for quite a long while,
yeah,
and it still is a thing. It's used as a fundraiser,
yeah,
and it's fun, and it's great. It's great if the weather turns off bad.
yeah,
And as it might. I don't know what your weather's going to be like in Texas, but here in Mississippi, we might very well get some heavy rain starting at about 6 o'clock, which means alternative plan is to go to some Halloween carnival that's set up for Saturday night,
yeah.
or some church group or something, or maybe just if it's going to be bad enough. I mean, the authorities might
The
just
authority.
change. Yeah. Oh, we got some authorities here, believe
Yeah,
me. Um, that might change it to Saturday night, I guess, which
Yeah.
would be kind of bad because Saturday nights are just sort of crazy anyway. With the teenagers and the younger folks out and about.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't mean the real little younger folks. I mean the folks that are the right age to have no good sense at all, doing things like driving too fast.
Now let me see if you remember this from the Halloween Carnival. Do you remember? It was like I forgot what grade sponsored this contest, but you paid, and there was this gigantic jar of jelly beans, and you had to guess the number to win the whole jar of jelly beans.
Yeah, they do things like that around here.
And I won.
Did you?
Yes.
What was your guess? Do you
I
remember?
always rememred it. There ended up the number was 704, but for some reason I wrote down 699. I missed by 5. I won it.
You should be on The Price is Right, dude. 501.
Yeah.
$1, Drew. How to play game shows.
And of course, they had all kind of stuff. I remember all the parents and everything loved the cakewalk. Our parents did.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
And one thing I remember I thought was really cool was one of our teachers, the elementary teachers, he collected antique cars, and he had some really cool, like Model A's, Model T's, and stuff like that. And they were making money, charging. He would take you for a ride in those Model T's.
Oh, really?
Kind of, yeah.
I missed all that. I missed out on all that.
I was just saying, and all the games and things were a lot of fun, and it was just all crowded up, and they had the auction, and just some good memories for me when I was a kid.
Well, we're taping this on a Monday night, and you can I don't know if you can even tell that I'm inside. Anybody watching, but that I'm outside. I'm out on the porch. But other than I flashed around and showed the outside just a minute ago. But the Halloween's going to be Thursday. This Halloween 2024. I guess. Hey, Ron, this is going to be on YouTube. It may be on YouTube forever. So somebody might be looking at this in 50 years, and I guess it'd be a good idea to show the year 2024 Halloween. And we're people still doing it. We have a street here in my hometown or here in my town. That's my hometown now. My hometown. It looks like a movie. It's wall to wall kids.
Yeah.
I tell you, it reminds me of something you might see in the old John Hughes movies. Some candles and that kind of thing. If his like the John Hughes vision of what Halloween would look like. We've got a big street in my hometown that has old homes on it and big porches, and every kid in town I think shows up there. We're taking our grandchildren, and it's just wall to wall kids, and the folks living on that street. Of course, they're well to do, or at least they're house wealthy. Whether or not cash wealthy, I don't know. But they must spend hundreds of dollars on candy because, kids just lined up for hours. And then you go to the next house in line. And, of course, the big thing for the kids is seeing all the costumes. And the parents and grandparents are just trying to not lose a kid if you can avoid it. But it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
A lot of parents dress up. A lot of people at the houses dress up,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I remember once taking my kids trick-or-treating, and I dressed up as the Joker and took them.
Oh, see, you're way
full
ahead of
makeup, green hair when I had hair, and everything.
Hey, I still got a lot of. Look at that. Look at that mane.
You can do it.
I can still do it.
Yeah.
But
I have to wear a wig now.
What's weird is on these things I wear the hat and you don't. That doesn't even make sense. You should be the one wearing the hat. But I like wearing hats.
Care, man.
I've got a collection of hats. I just bought a new hat.
I'm going bald. I don't care.
I bought a new hat the other day.
It's no surprise.
Ron, I think we're kind of out of soap here. And that's okay. We don't have to do a real long one this time. But it's just
I got a couple of things left.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
Yeah, I got a couple of shots left in the gun. I got a couple of songs.
Oh, I did not do a song of the week, although there's so many to choose from.
So it's all right.
Good.
Kind of two different styles. One that's written for Halloween, which is the Monster Mash.
Oh yeah, it's been around since
he did the mash.
Yep.
He did the Monster Mash.
Sure.
The Monster Mash. And then I had to throw a classic rock song in there just because of the name of it. Frankenstein, Edgar
Yeah,
Winter
yeah.
Group.
And well, you got Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London.
Oh, absolutely.
One of
my
the
favorites.
great songs. I think we've talked about that one before. We
Yes,
talked
we
about we both
have. I
like
think we have a couple of times.
the his hair was perfect line, which was one of the more perfect lines ever written.
I love that.
What is it? Purple, the Purple People Eaters.
Yeah.
I can't remember
It
that.
was something green eyed, flying purple people
People
eaters.
Eaters, yeah. You have to say it very carefully.
Flying
Have to
purple people.
articulate. The old defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings were called the Purple People Eaters from that.
Yeah, you got to be careful when you say that one.
Yeah, you just practice it. Just
Yeah.
you do better if you just move your lips on difficult to say things. Don't get your teeth involved, and you're
Right.
okay.
Well, I don't have a lot of those to get involved anyway. So
okay. Well, and
they retired.
What about the so what else do you have? Just the songs?
That was pretty much it. I think we're at the end.
Well, you know what? I wanted to wrap it up here, Ron, by just talking about we had a great response from our Westerns.
Oh, absolutely.
Like for us, I mean, we had 250. We're sitting there right at 250 hits. Hey, and Ron, we're all the way up to 15 subscribers. So anybody who's paying attention to this, we can use a subscriber and give us a thumbs up. I don't know what it means or how it helps.
Or a comment.
Huh?
Or a comment. Hey,
or a comment. Yeah, we've got that one mysterious commenter that comments from time to time. We'd love to continue to hear from that person. And because who doesn't like a mysterious because the name is what CXC dash comma or something. Yeah, it's great. It's one of the most cryptic names ever.
Yeah.
And we've got Steve and Don and Hubert, our original listeners, and our wives, but maybe
God knows who else.
Yeah, we're glad to get that kind of response.
God knows who else. I mean, welcome.
Hey, we'll be back down to 13.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we'll crash and burn. But
we had that.
We'll still be here.
Sure, it was great. So I guess that's going to wrap it up, Ron. Here with Boomer Bongo Boulevard. We'll hit again probably next week or sometime close to next week. We're certainly getting on.
Yeah, we just got a little busy and got hung up, and things happen, and life in that thing called life.
Hey, I think we're still hitting about probably on average we're probably doing a show.
We try to go every week, but I think 2 different times we've gone 2 weeks out of almost a year, so that's not bad.
Number 45. That's a lot. That's almost we're walking up on a year's worth of
we certainly are.
Programs, So, but that's it for me, and that's it for Halloween. And any final words, Ron, or we're out?
I am Iron Man.
Why not?
I don't have my gauntlet. It's still on the wall, but
oh well. Yeah. Don't take it down. Too much trouble.
Okay, I won't.